With the truck safely raised and supported, the first thing I want to do is remove the wheel. So with a 22 millimeter, take off this lug nut cover. And also with the 22 millimeter, remove all of your lug nuts. Okay, go ahead and remove the wheel. If for some reason your wheel is stuck onto the hub, put on a lug nut and use a rubber mallet on the tire, not on the rim. Once the wheel is off, I have gone ahead and sprayed this bolt on the bottom here, as well as this top bolt right there. And that's actually the one that I'm going to start with for removing this front shock. So if you push this fender liner out of the way, you can see there are different ways of doing this. I'm going to put a locking plier on this top end of the stud. As you can see, it's cut out. You could either hold it with a wrench, but that would be a very tiny wrench, or you could put locking pliers on it and use a wrench on this. So this being 15 millimeters, I'm going to slide a ratcheting wrench down first. Then I'm going to take my large locking pliers and tighten them onto this stud. You want these to be as tight as you can possibly get them so that you have good grip on this stud. Now you can just go ahead and free up this bolt. If you feel the need to go back and forth with this nut in order to work in the rust penetrant, go ahead and do that. For me, it's coming off with not a lot of difficulty. Okay, I have reached the limit of my pliers here, so take those off, and now the nut is pretty much free. So take it off. Next, follow the shock down, and we're going to remove that 21 millimeter nut while holding the bolt with a wrench, also 21 millimeters. Take this out. At this point, pull this shock forward, pull it down out of its mounting hole, and here you go. There's your old shock. Before you install your new shock, it's a good practice to start the shock, so press it down all the way, compress it, and then let it expand by itself. Do this 3 to 5 times, and then you're ready to install it. That's going to mix in all the oils that are in it. To install your new shock, make sure you insert your washer and bushing first, then bring it up through the frame. And at this point, I'm going to line up the bottom, bring in your bolt from the inside out, and start the nut. Once that's done, put in your rubber bushing and metal washer up on the top. And at this point, you might need a jack to raise the suspension up because threads are not coming out the top. With the help of a floor jack positioned safely underneath the control arm, I'm going to jack up this side of the suspension, and that should give me enough clearance on the shock. And as you can see, the threads came through, so now I can start my nut on there. With a 14 millimeter wrench now, it's not a 15 anymore, go ahead and snug this nut up. And as you can see, the shaft is spinning, so you can grab the top with some locking pliers, or I'm just going to use this adjustable wrench here. You want to squish down these bushings until they start to compress, kind of like sway bar bushings. And that's about right here. You don't want to compress them too much because then they'll wear prematurely. So remove your tools, and now let's snug the bottom. I'm actually going to snug the bottom with pressure still on this control arm. And the torque for this bottom bolt here is 18 foot-pounds. Now you can remove your jack. Next, put on your wheel. Start on all your lug nuts, bottom them out, and then torque them to 140 foot-pounds. And don't forget about your lug nut cover cap.